Okay, good evening everyone. My name is Jay Iloban and I'm a dentist. Um, I've been in this situation and where I can't really talk to someone, sorry, how I feel. I have a girlfriend, but I feel like it's better to take a video of myself, to talk to myself and to talk to you. But yeah. Anyway, I've been in dentistry. I've been a student for 10 years. So, yeah, it's been a long time. There were a lot of things that happened in those years, in that 10 years. Fought through a lot of suicidal tendencies, and back subjects. Failed a lot of people, failed a lot of subjects. But here I am. It's you know what? You know that feeling where you've been doing it for a long time, and when you get there, it's don't get me wrong. I'm really I'm really thankful for where I am right now. But now that I'm here, it feels like ito na yun. It, this is it. And now I have to work for my entire life. And it just, I mean, that's life, You study hard, and you get the job, you get the title, and then you work your entire life. That's basically life, but it just feels like it's anticlimactic, Or maybe it's just me. I've been watching a lot of movies. I've been in dentistry for 10 years. I've been fighting for this title, for that DMD license. And I'm finally here. And it just it took a long time for me to understand that all I need was just to lock in. There were a lot of things that I thought I needed, but it turned out not that I really don't need it. Last year I just passed the board exam last year, 2025. And during my review season, it took me 6 months, by the way. During my review season, I was enrolled in two review centers. One was for the subjects, for the lecture side of the board exam, the written exam, and one was for the practical side of the board exam. So I've been studying. I've been enrolled in that review center, in that lecture review center for like 6 months, I guess, or 5 months, something like that. And that review center, top rank, really taught me how to study the question, because you can easily get confused with the board exam questions if you don't know what the topic is. So you need to know your basics for the board exam in the Philippines, or I don't know, maybe also in other countries. You need to know your basics, because in our board exam let me just run it back. In our review center, in top rank, the lecture side of the board exam, we were taught and we were trained to answer difficult questions. We studied a lot of things, intricate details about the human body, intricate details about illnesses that we've never heard of, that we just heard of right then and there. And it was a lot, an overload of information. But when we got to answer the board exam, we were shocked. Like, this was it? This is it? These are the questions? These are basic. And so they were training us, they were conditioning our minds for difficult questions, and when we got to the board exam, it was easy. And thank God for that. Maybe maybe 90% of the questions were basic and 10% were, I don't know, maybe complex, or maybe I'm wrong with that percentage. But thank God for that review center, because I really learned from them. I was never an achiever, so I was never mentioned during any of that, any of the recognition of the top notchers in top rank. Never really aimed for that. I was aiming for the board exam. I don't really need the recognition. I just want to become a dentist. And so I focused where I was wrong. I intentionally, or actually unintentionally, I tried my best. That's what I want to say. I tried my best answering the difficult questions during our mock board exams. And hey, I failed. I failed a lot. I wasn't mentioned in those top notchers, but because I failed a lot. My grades were constantly 40 over 100, 50 over 100, and I was really beating myself up because of those grades. But I was reminded that, hey, wait a minute, I'm not trying to top the mock board exams. I'm trying to top the board exam. And so that's what I did. I tried to top the board exam. Unfortunately, I didn't top the board exam, but I passed the board exam. And that's what's important. The second review center I was enrolled in was DSEC. It was a practical review center. And I really learned a lot. Again, I am not an achiever. My hands are not that great, but with DSEC, I learned all the techniques, some shortcuts, but mostly the fundamentals in complete denture, removable partial denture, in fixed partial denture, and resto. I was total shite in FPD. I'm not gonna sugarcoat myself with anything. Although I passed the board exam, but my FPD, if you saw it, it was total shite. I still remember all the errors I had in the board exam. It was literally like this. We were time pressured, so anyway, I wasn't trained to. I didn't train to. Oh, sorry, I didn't practice preparing the lower teeth. I always practiced the upper teeth, and so when the board exam came, when it was the FPD section part of the board exam, I was really surprised that we were going to prepare the lower teeth. And lo and behold, it was total shite. If my FPD preparation in upper was shite, man, the lower teeth were total shite. But complete denture, it was really fast paced. What can I say? I just had to do what I had to do. The complete denture part it took us almost half the day. No, wait, 8 a.m. until 2 p.m. Yeah, something like that. Complete denture was really it was hard, it was hard. But because of DSEC, I was prepared. We were taught about the shortcuts, but mostly fundamentals. Okay, DSEC does not teach how to cheat. DSEC teaches you how to handle pressure, how to know the basics, and how to troubleshoot. Okay, it's important to know troubleshooting, because when you're in the board exam, when you do something off the plan and something shit happens, I don't know, you need to learn troubleshooting, and that's what we learned from DSEC. Same goes for FPD, as yeah, FPD, RPD, and Resto. I was better off. I was well off with Resto part, so not much to talk about there. RPD. RPD is my second shite. Let me explain. So in RPD board exam, we have to do it. We have to draw on half of a paper. So you need to write small and draw small. But with my hands, my writing was a bit squiggly, and my drawing, it was fine. It was okay, but you had to be mindful of the borders. They had a rule. They had a 1-inch border on both sides. So if you write over the border, then that's a minus point. It might be because of, I really don't know why they do that. But then there's another part in RPD that you have to bring casts in RPD. Your cast needs to be a dentulous. Again, dentulous cast. And then right then and there, you should be knocking down teeth with the instructed teeth that are going to be knocked down. So you have to be mindful of the adjacent tooth, because if you knock that down, then you'll have to do it again. But again, RPD or in board exam, you are time pressured. It's all timed, so you have to do it. In RPD, you have to do it an hour and a half. And so if you mess up, then good luck, because time's running out. So fortunately, I didn't mess up with RPD. Might messed up with FPD, but that's all. But anyway, that's review season. Really teaches you how to humble yourself. It guides you to the right thing. And I couldn't have done it without my parents, and especially without my Jesus, without God. So they say that board exam is 99% prayer and 1% review, which is true. I guess, yeah. But no. It's 100% prayer and 100% studying. It's a balance. You have to pray for the board examiners, the board of dentistry, and you have to pray for the proctors. A proctor that's in a bad mood, then good luck with that, because that'll affect the flow of the board exam. Sometimes I've heard proctors be shit with their with processing, but yeah, fortunately I didn't experience that. My proctors were in a good mood. They were very jolly, they really helped us. And yeah. Oh, during my written exam in board exam, so in board exam, you're not allowed to bring anything that has uh, anything that has something written on it. So on the lecture side, or the written part of the board exam, which is 3 days, on the second day, I sorry, let me run it back. So let me run it back again. In our lecture or written part of the board exam, we got 3 days, and each have different testing sites. And in those testing sites, you have proctors. It might be There might be 10 proctors and one supervisor, and two marshals, I guess, and a guard. So my testing site was in a cinema. In that cinema, um, so if you think about a cinema, it usually has dim lights. But in our cinema, we had ginormous lights that were directly um, directly lighting, shining on us is the word. That's the word. Okay, so it was like that. So my seat was in the farthest part of the cinema. It was at the top, and I was in the far right of the cinema, so I can see everyone. So on the second day of the board exam, again in board exam, you're not allowed to bring anything that has something written on it. So on the second day, well, when I arrived early in the testing site, I walked up the steps, and I saw in front of me, two seats in front of me, yeah, something like that. 2 seats in front of me, there was a calculator. Sorry, the cover of a calculator. So I said, "Hey, that's not right. That's not right." Yeah. So I went down. I reported it to the proctor in charge of our site, and then she went up with me and asked me, Did you go near this cover?" And I said, "Of course not, because I don't want to risk it. So I just told you that that's not mine." And then she asked, "Who's seated here?" "I don't know, but I know it's a girl." And then she waited for the girl to come up. And when everyone is finally settled, when we were about to take the exam, she was questioned. "Hey, is this your calculator? This cover of the calculator, did you leave this?" And she said no. And the proctor looked at me like I knew something. And I was like, I don't know. I just reported it to you, and I really don't know. But she was suspicious, so I think she reported it to her superior. Anyway, so we took the board exam, and yeah, that was the lecture part. The written part of the board exam was really tiring. But when we got to the practical part of the board exam, that was really tiring, because everything was time pressured. Everything was, you need to clean you need to clean your work. You need to clean your workspace and everything. You have to leave before something. Anyway, I just like to focus on the first day, because the second day of the practical part of the board exam was CD, and CD was, it was all right. On the first day, before I went to the testing site, so for the written part of the board exam, the testing site was in Caloocan, and my boarding house my dorm was near UST, and then the practical testing site was in NU MOA. So I had to we had to wake up early in the morning, around 5 a.m. or 4 a.m., and leave by 5 a.m. But before I left the dorm, so how should I say this? I had a trolley, and on that trolley, I took two boxes with me. One was larger than the other one, and we had to go down a flight of steps. And on the last step outside of the dorm, the trolley went sideways. And here's the thing. When it went sideways, my stuff, my box was broken, and all of my stuff was on the ground, and the vital instruments were they fell on shit. They fell on dog poop, or maybe cat poop. But anyway, they all fell on dog poop, and thank God for this, because out of all of my hand instruments that fell on dog poop, only 3 or maybe 4 didn't fall on that dog poop. And in that 4, the depth gauge, fortunately, thank God, did not fall on that shit. And it was really, really amazing and disappointing at the same time, because I was in a hurry, everyone was in a hurry. The ride that we booked was already there, and he witnessed our box went go sideways. So it was really stressful. But fortunately, Kevin was there, Dad was there to help me. Dad went with me to the testing site. Kevin helped with all the instruments. He packed all the instruments that fell on the poop. He just really, Kevin, if you're watching this, thank you so much for being my best friend. Okay, you're a lifesaver. But yeah, the first day was really, really, really stressful because of that thing happening. But yeah, it was, man, board exam really is hard. Board exam can really take a huge toll on every aspect of your life. So if I were you, study hard, study your basics, and pray harder. Okay, so I guess I'll be cutting this video off because it's been 23 minutes, that long. And I hope you learned a little thing or two. I'm doing this mainly because I can't really talk about my feelings to anyone other than my girlfriend and my parents, but they're busy. And so I thought of just putting it here. I've never seen anyone post something helpful about dentistry. Oh, sorry. Let me rephrase that. I've seen a lot of tips how to survive dentistry, but I've never seen anyone deal with dentistry with grace. I've never seen anyone talk about dentistry, about the ugly side of dentistry. And I guess that's why I'm here, talking about the ugly side of dentistry and how I survived it. There were a lot of things that happened to me, but I can't really talk about it that much because it would be too long of a video. But I guess I'd be talking about that on the next video if I have the time. So yeah, thank you for listening. I don't normally do this, but thank you for listening. And if you're a dentistry student and you're fighting for this license, just pray to God, push through no matter what happens. Push through. No matter what you feel, no matter what you think of, just show up and do it, because your future self will thank you for it. Anyway, this is It's been nice, and I'm Dr. John Joseph Ilogan. Thank you, and God bless.